Hello everyone, today I'm going to be talking about Claude. Let's see what are the pros and cons in general. First thing to note, you definitely, I guess as a developer, would require to first and foremost install Claude Code for it to work similarly as, it's similar as I guess Cursor you might say. Installation is quite simple. You just install it. I already have it installed, so I actually don't need to go through that, right? Yeah, nonetheless, once installed, you could actually start running Claude inside, right? Claude. So it's gonna prompt if you trust a folder. And yeah, here I have welcome back. So, and I can run init to initialize, right? But it's actually not required. So I can do different options, agents, running, and a lot of options like that I didn't fully explore, right? So that is that, but like, once you have purchased, right? Then like, the setup is quite simple. It's gonna just redirect you as auth page, right? Auth. Then you're gonna just accept and then that's done, right? You don't need to add any access tokens, right? As you had, for example, in Open Router, right? With settings and stuff, right? Here it's more convenient, right? So this is definitely needed, right? It can work as an alternative of, I guess, Cursor, right? Another thing that as well highly suggest is to install Claude Desktop. Let me see if it's here. Is it this one? No, Claude Desktop. Desktop. I'm using Comet, by the way. I really like it a lot more than other browsers as of now. For example, here Claude Desktop. Downloaded on Mac. I use Map, but as well there's mobile. So for example, let me go here, and you can see it. Yeah, works more or less same as any other applications, right? The one thing I can note that like before, it has like what reset. I guess just I could have prompted 5 times, and then I had to wait a day, right? So I couldn't use it as extensively as I wanted to, right? But now as well, because I use Pro, you have a reset window 5 hours and 24 minutes, right? Maybe I'm gonna show it shortly to you. It's a little bit work similar as you have, for example, in Cursor, right? So this is one of the projects I used to do before AI. So maybe I'm gonna test here, because in Cursor, as you may know, it has a limit as well usage, and then it's just gonna simpler tier for example, Claude. It works differently. You use tokens, then it like resets, and in 5 hours you can get it, right? So in a day maybe you can run it twice, right? So that is that. Other thing to note is that there is something like platform cloud. The thing is, for example, I can get a API key here. I installed it for N8N. I needed it, right? I'm gonna use later. The issue with that is that for using API key, you can see here I have 454. You have to have a separate payment, right? So it's not like you have Gemini, or I think maybe GPT as well doesn't have it, right? That once you have like this, for example, Pro plan bought, then you would as well have access to API key, right? I thought that is gonna work differently, that I can access it, but no. For example, here I can buy credits and I can add credits to my API key, right? It's like a little bit bitter, but it is what it is. But otherwise, you can as well in Platform Cloud create a workspace and then work with it. So here API keys, create key, limits, it has some kind of limits. Where was it? Here, monthly limit. So some pros and cons. I will test it a little bit more. For example, to create own agents, here I have new agent and get define it, but that is for a different time, right? So regarding ID, I can still open cursor, right? And two things to note that here as well you would have to, for example, this is, as I mentioned, old project, right? I'm not gonna use the, I guess, from the cursor because it's obviously just a fork from VS Code. So for example, now I here write Claude. Here I trust the folder, yes. It specifies what I run, what model. Otherwise, I can ask a question, bugfix, what other options are. Blood home, clear, color. So there are a lot of, it's quite neat in a sense. Let me actually go back. By the way, what do you think where there are stuff to fix? Just about this repo here, I have old, really old front end, just purely JS, and here I have server side, super old, right? So I'm just gonna ask in the IDE for now, and here it can give out options. If you don't like this option, there is as well here, for example, extensions, and you can as well install Claude for VS Code. This is the most 16 million installs, and in both cases, here in the terminal and here you will have to do the authentication the first go, right? So this is that. For some reason I have two, but I think this is a real one. Claude, oh, here. Could make Claude MD for this. Because I had an interview regarding it, I'm gonna upload a document regarding this project and see how it's gonna use a thought process. Wait, let me search the document. Here, in this case, you have to press Shift to upload it, and now you can see it's here. Quite different than, for example. So here, I could do the same thing from both sides. This is a good repo because it's, as I mentioned, really old. It wasn't even touched with AI and unfinished, right? Like most people have. So here it examines. It could as well do here if I wanted to. Sometimes I actually use a terminal. For me, it's I guess I can monitor a lot better. Here sometimes it doesn't work as well, apart from UIs. So here it reads everything I have. Wait, can I actually? One thing I dislike that I have will restructure the directory, right? But or what is located? Okay, here it goes. Claude, no, not this one. I have to remove the other one. If you have cursor, maybe it's not worth it, I would say, but I think otherwise for AI agents and using some, I guess, other options like creating agents, I think it brings some merit. Have to figure out what kind of agent should I create. As well has some MCP, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere API, structure extractor. Okay, here it actually is to creating a support agent. Here's I'm gonna data analyst. So let's see where we're going through. So here it's quite different. It creates Claude MD. It will use that as a reference. here, like, I just allow, I can press second, can actually press here, yeah, okay, not the right one, here it suggests is it compliant, so it here raises that no ORM is being used, that Next.js is not being used, it could be better. Wait a second. I'm actually curious if I can actually add MCP. One thing maybe that you noticed is that it's a lot slower than Cursor. Cursor actually instantly gives me an option, but here it actually takes quite a time. Here I have as well recording as option. Here it uses Claude MD as a context. So here in the separate one, how to add MCP to my Claude repo for Claude Pro to use. For example, now I use this one in a secret. So one thing that I really like compared to, okay, MCP in the root. Okay, let me try it. I have neon access. Can you give me the template? Let's see how it's gonna work out. Okay. Add the answer. Copy. I'm actually curious if it's gonna work out. MCP JSON.
One eternity.
Wait, maybe I'm gonna stop it here and we'll see if it's gonna work in the terminal. Sometimes the terminal works a lot better because here it's I guess uncreated, right? So yeah, that. Okay, it's opening here. All the directories were deleted. Register. Here, for example, it added on context and it based on the actual file that I uploaded from one of my, I guess, projects that was needed to make to be recruited, right? And it assessed it really well, put here in the context and work with it. So apart from that, obviously it is a little bit pity so that you have to pay for it. You have Gemini and a few other ones that are free, and if you want to use API key, then it's yeah, additional payment. I would suggest actually using purely cursor if you just plan just using code inside here, but if you plan on experimenting something more in depth, like creating a lot of separate agents, right, advanced agents, using it for N8N, some kind of workflow, or I guess more diversified, right, that they can as well do it for Excel and few other options, right? So it's I guess code, because here you have analytics, as you can see, usage. You can analyze. Maybe I could analyze my stock picks, right? Here have different kind of and this one work. I guess context and different. So it's in depth if you know more than just coding, right? So say or like automation. Yeah. For Claude, even though but think it benefits, and Coursera still use occasionally. So yeah, I hope you like the video and you learned something new. See you in the next one. Cheers.